this is a good result for Leeds in a sense, because they've got this priority of not throwing away what they had last year, which was looking like guaranteed to get in the Premier League. So I think it's a good result for both teams.
Right.
I think Leeds showed why, if Bielsa gets them up, they're going to be exciting to watch in the Premier League. And I think Arsenal, it's unsurprising that they were outplayed for long periods and that nothing comes easy to them. And Arteta got a tune out of them in the second half. It's a win. And that's kind of where they are at the moment, is nothing is coming easy for this Arsenal side.
Don Hutchison is with us. Don, let's start, shall we, with the red card. Red card for you. Do you agree with the boys?
Yeah, I think so. I think when you see the slow motion footage, I think it was a clear red card. It's not the worst kick out I've ever seen, but I think in the current rules in the modern day, I think that's a clear red card. OK, let's talk about Arsenal overall. Don, do you think that another manager could have got them out? Could Unai Emery or Freddie Ljungberg have got that performance in the second half from them? I don't think so. What I've seen from Arteta and what I've heard from him in his press conferences have been very positive. He's going to sort of take it back a little bit to the old school way. First and foremost, he wants hard graft. I'm seeing the likes of Sokratis come off the pitch. I'm seeing David Luiz come off the pitch. I'm seeing Mesut Özil coming off the pitch, all absolutely knackered and blowing, which is a good sign because they are talented players, all of them. But it's about time this Arsenal group of players put a shift in. There's only so many managers you can go through if you're an individual before you've got to look in the mirror and say, maybe, is it me? Is it my fault? Do I need to do a little bit more? And I think since Arteta's been through the door, there's been a change in culture. I think many of these Arsenal players have got away with it for far too long. And now he's marking down his stance. He's almost a clone of Pep, isn't he? What he's saying, how he looks, how he is in the technical area. And you can see he's certainly had an impact. Well,
let's slow down a minute here. Let's just rein in the horses here. Could Unai Emery or Freddie Ljungberg have got a team, a Premier League team, to respond in the second half against a Championship team? I mean, as good a second half as it was, and he did get a response.
But it's a response we didn't see. We haven't seen this season, really, have we? Arsenal just kind of laboured along.
Well, have Arsenal played a team in the Championship this season? I don't know who they played in the Carabao Cup. I don't know.
You can argue that Leeds are a lot better.
I might be wrong.
Leeds are a lot better than some of these teams.
Are they? Well, they never made it up last year. So the other thing would be, this discussion has gone down the line. If I just had tuned in and I thought they've just come back against Liverpool and Man City.
There's two ways. No, I'm just the reason.
You've got to look at the bigger picture, haven't you?
Well, tell me what the bigger picture. Well, tell me what it is, and I'll look at it.
Well, the bigger picture is the bigger picture is if Freddie Ljungberg was in charge of this side, you would have seen 90 minutes that would have been non-plus. It would have been a boring game. It would have been lethargic. I seen a game tonight where I watched a proper cup tie, and that involved Leeds for 45 minutes. They were sensational. They bopped Arsenal off the pitch for 45 minutes. And Arteta went in at half-time and he delivered what must have been a very interesting team talk. Because second half, they were brilliant. And they've been brilliant, the Arsenal players, in their attitude since he's walked through the door. So you can see a change in the culture.
So is the glass half full or half empty? Because you could argue, how did he go out and perform the way they did in the first half? If this guy's got such a hold of them. Now, you can't argue that they were a different team in the second half. But all it tells you is, this guy, if he has to do what he did in the second half, because on the sideline, not only did he obviously get after him in the dressing room, for the whole of the 45 minutes, he was up shouting. He was the one that was pushing his team. He can't be doing that every single time they step on the field. And so, clearly, he doesn't have players who, as individuals, can get themselves going. If Arsenal are going to do anything, he's going to have to work his socks off from the first minute to the last minute, because the players he's got on the field are not capable of putting a shift down when it counts. The fact that Don's saying you've got all these guys coming off at the end blowing. Well, they were only trying for 45 minutes, so they must have been in pretty bad shape if they're coming off knackered. I mean, it just tells you the state of Arsenal right now.
Nothing changes. If Arsenal had a good 45 minutes against a Championship team, a good one, but ultimately a Championship team, and a good 45 minutes against, say, Liverpool, nothing changes. Mikel Arteta still needs a clear out at Arsenal.
Sure.
Nothing whatsoever changes. You can have a half-full glass, full glass. You can have whatever glass you want. Nothing changes.
But there is a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel,
Where?
isn't there? You beat Manchester United and you beat Leeds after a terrible first
Look,
half.
have you...
No, but we're going...
That's a stretch.
Well, nothing changes.
We're making
That's a
noises.
stretch. You're trying to say that because they've beat Man United are an average team.
Yes.
At best.
So you're trying to say that, well, they've just beat Man United. I mean, if
What I'm saying
if
is-
you turned around to me and said, you know what, they were absolutely fantastic for 90 minutes against City and were unlucky and lost, or they were great against Liverpool and were unlucky and lost, then I could have something to grab onto. But I can't grab onto you playing well against an average Man United team and then coming back against the Championship
But this is
team.
Arsenal who've set the bar so low.
Yes.
So
yes.
low, which means that if you beat United and if you beat Leeds with a good second half, if I'm an Arsenal fan, I'm just taking that. I'm holding on to that thread of hope that maybe, just maybe, we're turning a corner.
Tell you what, if the second half...
You're turning
had
a
been the-
corner.
If the second half had been the same as the first half, then I would maybe agree with you. But it wasn't. They got outplayed.
You are turning,
trying his best,
you know,
isn't
you
he?
are turning a corner, but you're turning it in a double-decker bus.
exactly.
You know, it's not. You're not turning it in a Ferrari, and there's the problem. Is that I'm not saying, and I thought Arteta's appointment long-term could be quite good, but you know, you can't sweep things under the carpet because a couple of half-decent performances. It doesn't change anything until that club changes its recruitment policy. They'll be second best with the big boys.
Arsenal then through to the fourth round. The draw was made today as well. Who have they got? Bournemouth away. That should be all right considering how bad Bournemouth have been of late. Not really any ties that jump out at you. Yeah.
Yeah. Watford Premier League game, maybe?
Let's take a look at the other half, shall we, as well? Manchester City against Fulham, West Ham, West Brom. Both of the teams have got West in their name. Meanwhile, Bristol City or Shrewsbury will play host to Liverpool.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN+.